This is a web-based survey, a brief brain exercise about exercise. Dear Dr. B, I am a nursing student at Washington State University. I am asking for your invaluable participation in a brief survey. This survey will be used to learn how much people know about exercise, its purpose, its benefits, fact or fiction. The results will help in our efforts to improve the accuracy and effectiveness of patient education programs to empower and encourage more people to adopt an active lifestyle. Your responses will be completely confidential and will not require you to disclose any personal identifying information. This survey can be easily completed within 3 minutes. Thank you in advance for your kind and helpful contribution to our efforts. Please click the link below to get started. Thank you. George V. Kovach, RN. I chose the topic of exercise for my survey, not only because it is personally a favorite subject of mine, but as registered nurses, no matter what the discipline, we will someday be confronted with patient teaching in this very important lifestyle issue. I'm just going to basically review for you how my survey tried to follow the different bullet points in these 10 tips to improve our survey that were provided for us in the PowerPoint taken from Zoomerang on how to make a stronger survey. And the first one of the bullets is clearly define the purpose of the survey. Now, as you will see in the survey, this survey will be used to learn how much people know about exercise, its purpose, its benefits, fact or fiction. The results will help in our efforts to improve the accuracy and effectiveness of patient education programs to empower and encourage more people to adopt an active lifestyle. I tried throughout to keep the language at a very accessible point to all knowledge levels so as not to provide any kind of challenge. Basically, no matter who ends up participating in the survey. Our next important point is keep the survey short and focused. I have 8 questions in total, and keep the questions simple. Also, used closed-ended questions whenever possible. And keep rating scale questions consistent through the survey. Now, with this survey, I have chosen the 8 questions, and these are the first 4. As you will see, they're all true and false. First question, if you want to lose weight, it is better to perform both aerobic exercise and weightlifting. Number 2, in order to lose weight from a particular area of your body, you should repeat an exercise multiple times. Number 3, the longer and harder one exercises, the better. Number 4, exercise helps with insomnia. Number 5, to see any positive outcomes from exercising, you have to keep training for at least 15 minutes without pause. Number 6, thin people have no reason to exercise. Number 7, if one stops exercising, muscles become fat. And number 8, fat cells work differently in the lower body versus the upper body. So some of these questions are true, some of them are false, and in an ideal situation, if I had subscribed and paid for the entire SurveyMonkey, all of the bells and whistles, what I would have done is, after the recipient answers each question, I would provide a little paragraph to basically give him instant feedback on what the latest research is, whether that particular statement is true or false. As you can hopefully see, the flow of the questions is not really in any logical order, because the makeup of the survey did not really proceed in that situation. It was just a series of 8 general knowledge questions about the latest findings and the latest knowledge about exercise. Continuing with the 10 tips to improve your survey, make sure the survey flows in a logical order, which I just spoke about. And pre-testing the survey, we have send it to our peers and have our peers check our survey. Since this is not a real-world test, the pre-test will be done by our peers. And consider your audience when sending survey invitations. I expounded on that just a few minutes ago. I really tried to make the wording so that it is very accessible, no matter what the education level of the reader will be. Of course, consider sending several reminders. Consider offering an incentive. If this were a real-world situation, then we'd want to keep that in mind. Make your from name recognizable, as in a company. I would have my own letterhead if I was doing consulting, depending upon who I was actually doing this survey for. Keep the subject lines short, 35 characters or less. This is an interesting one because I violate it by 2 characters, so mine is actually 37. As you can see, a brief brain exercise about exercise. And I opted to let it go a little bit longer just in order to make the title interesting and somewhat attractive to the survey taker. Avoid words and symbols that trigger spam filters in the subject line. I have tried to do this, however, I have on my email such aggressive spam filtering that no matter what subject line I chose, it automatically dumped into spam. So I don't think my email is a real objective place from which to gauge whether whether it would most likely end up in spam. And of course, in a real-world situation, send no more than 1 survey a week to each respondent. Now, continuing to increase the click rate on your survey link, include personal information such as recipient names when possible. Now, what I would do in this case, had this been a real survey situation with a large sample of recipients, I would basically put the email and the letter as a merge document in Word, for example, and the variable for the merge would be the salutation, and the secondary merge document, of course, would be the names of each participant that I could just plug in for each individual recipient. You see where it says Dear Dr. B, as it would print out or come out from, as it would print out, it would, of course, give the name based on the merged secondary document, and try to make it a little personal like that. And next, of course, thank the recipient for their participation and mention the purpose of the survey. We already talked about the purpose of the survey within both the invitation and the narrative on top of the actual questions themselves. So the purpose, again, this survey will be used, and thank you in advance for your kind and helpful contribution to our efforts. Now, provide information about the incentive if you are offering one. Of course, I am not. And these last 2 are quite important. Assure confidentiality in responses, and indicate how long the survey will take. Test it on colleagues, peers, etc., like we did with our peer group, and you can estimate that 5 closed-ended questions take about a minute, and 2 open-ended questions take 1 minute. Now, going back to the previous assure confidentiality, if this were a serious research venture instrument from which I will be gaining data to be used in actual research, this topic would be vital in terms of the IRB process, the Institutional Review Board, in order to keep the confidentiality, reliability, legality of the data current. So here again, we have near the end. This survey can be easily completed within 3 minutes, and please click the link below to get started. Now, the confidentiality, your responses will be completely confidential and will not require you to disclose any personal identifying information. And that's it. In case you're wondering why there was no video to go along with it, it's because my wife told me previously, on more than one occasion, that I have the perfect voice for radio. So, thank you so much for listening.